All right, guys, here we are, a three-way look. So my head's going to be turning the whole entire time, but that's okay. It'll be worth it because we're going to travel from Miami, Florida, at the Global Wellness Summit across the country to one of my favorite places, Palm Springs, California. And we are joined, I will tell you why in 1 second, but this is very timely because just this morning, the Global Wellness Summit revealed the latest numbers for the global wellness economy. There's 11 sectors. We talk about them all the time in this podcast, but guess which three we're going to focus on right now in this interview. Wellness tourism, which is valued at $651 billion. Hot springs, my very favorite, which is $46 billion, as of today, revealed 2022 numbers. And spas, worth $105 billion. And we're going to talk about a destination and a location, a spa in that location that covers all these things. So I am here with Colleen Pace, who's Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Visit Greater Palm Springs. Welcome, Colleen.
That's right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And one of her members, Daniel Spencer. He's the Director of Spas at a new, amazing, I think it's a day spa called Séc-he. And if I didn't say that right, I tried really hard.
It was perfect.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, let's talk about, first of all, just describe to us, and then we'll get to the destination. What the heck is Séc-he, and why does it have a name that I can't pronounce?
Séc-he does mean sound of boiling water in the Cahuilla language. So when the property was being built, they wanted to kind of bring it back to the original source. Yeah. So it's makes it extra special. There's our sacred waters that are in the heart of Palm Springs. So these mineral springs goes 8,000 feet deep, and they're 12,000 years old. These waters press up through a tiny chimney at about 25 gallons per minute, 105 degrees. So it's cooled down as it comes up to the top, and then that's where it goes into private individual baths plus our main pool outside. So.
And how big is the new day spa that you opened?
Total square feet is 73,000 square feet with the outside facilities.
Some hotels have like 5,000 square feet. This is 73,000.
Yeah.
Now we're going to focus on the destination itself, but right now let's focus on the destination of Séc-he because I got to visit. And I mean, everywhere I turned, there was more space and more tables and more treatments. How many treatment rooms do you have?
We have 15 treatment rooms.
Feels like more.
Yeah, it's the size. Does make it feel like there would be more, but there's a lot more of it. It's an amenity also based spa. So it's very experiential.
Yes, this man stopped at nothing. How long did you work on this spa?
We broke ground in 2018. So it was a total of 6 years. That included a 6-month hold when they found some artifacts, which then they stopped construction. It's all the Cahuilla's artifacts. Those went into, some of those were included in the museum that opened up.
Can you spell the name of that tribe?
Cahuilla is Cahuilla. And
that is their land that Séc-he is on.
Yeah, so it's the Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla Indians.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, I'm just going to walk in and help me, guide me on this because it's so huge and there's so much beautiful detail work. But one of the things that I remember is that when you walk in, you're kind of meandering, and it is inside a building. But there's something, I think it's round, if I remember it right.
Yeah.
And then when you go in, there's a skylight that leads you down a babbling brook. And there's a beautiful statue of a Native American woman looking in a brook. And then there's treatment rooms all around it. And I think there's trees growing in there. And I thought, just let me stay here. So tell me some of the treatments you can get in those rooms.
We do massages. We're using anything from treatment tables that are lined with infrared heat, gemstones, light therapy. They emit a vibration. So the treatment tables themselves, even for a basic massage, are enhanced significantly.
Those are Guarini tables, lot of them, right?
Yeah,
and you have living room craft, you have it all. But the Guarini, we interviewed Samuel Guarini in one of the early episodes of this podcast, and we say he's like the Rolls Royce of spa equipment. It's like laying in a Ferrari or something. Yeah. So much happens in these tables.
They're incredible. We do the quartz massages, which uses sound bowls that has crushed quartz. You land, it's heated. It's like laying on a bed of heated sand. So as you lay on it, it rolls back and forth with air rollers underneath. It contours to the body. I kind of consider it the Birkenstock of massage tables because it is very firm, but it molds to the body. We also do a lot of our scrubs and wraps, which kind of resonates with laying on those desert sands, and you're smelling the sage oils that you're getting scrubbed. So you're smelling the desert. You feel like you're laying on the desert.
But the
So it's
sand
very
is so clean.
experiential.
That silicone or whatever, it's
Yeah.
quartz.
Yeah.
It's just so clean.
Yeah.
And then nobody knows the feeling of this. When you're laying on that quartz and it's so soft and malleable, and then the sound bowls hit, you can literally feel the vibrations going
Yes.
through your bones into that sand.
Yes, it resonates through, just adds to it all.
It's the craziest thing. And then you have some crazy facials.
Yes.
I don't know.
Our
What-
facials, we're doing, clinical grade. We're doing equipment like jet peel. So not just high-end equipment and products, but then it's being performed on the Spa Wave table by Gary, which has the basically it's like a waterbed treatment table.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it vibrates the frequency that you're listening to the music when you put the headphones on. So the same resonance is running through the vibration. So the efficacy of the sound therapy in that, along with the vibration, is much more effective. And then you're getting the facial on top of that. So you literally get transported to a different place during the facial.
And I mean, I don't know the budget this man had, but I have to say it was quite generous, because everywhere I turned on that tour, it's like, oh, you have cryotherapy? Oh, sure you do. Oh, you have a float tank? Oh, sure you do.
Yeah.
I mean, everything cutting edge of what's
Yeah.
now. There's pools, but the peste de resistance, I can't pronounce that. The icing on the cake is your mineral springs.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what happens? You go downstairs and there's individual private tubs? Is that
It's all on one floor, but there's 22 mineral baths. So we have 10 on the men's side, 12 on the women's, and these are all privately drawn baths. You get your own private bath. The water's coming out of this faucet. It's the first time it's filling up that bathtub. So you're the first person to touch that water
That's
in
kinda
12,000 years. You're very, these are sacred waters. This is something the tribe has been doing for, thousands of years. And so just the connection with that experience in itself is very, very special. But then, that gets added with then, the other amenities are just kind of just added benefit to the real heart of the spa, which is the mineral springs.
Yeah. And for anyone who really loves spas, if you go deep and that's a pun, but if you go back in time, it all started with hot springs. That's the birth of spas. I read where, the Roman, soldiers would march across, whatever they were conquering, and they saw the horses would look for warm, bubbly water to soothe their tired legs and feet. And the soldiers were like, well, maybe that works. And then I also read in your bio that you used to work at Glen Ivy Hot Springs
I did.
in Southern California.
Yeah, that's where my passion for it all started. So
Oh my God. I love that place. With all the mud and whatever. So how far spas have come? I mean, to be ancient history, and then you've kind of taken the core of the hot springs and built a cathedral of healing and rejuvenation around it. But the crazy thing is the cultural part of the, I can't pronounce,
Cahuilla.
tribe.
Yeah.
What significance does that have on what you're doing there?
Well, I think everything with, from the design, like you said, is the circular shape of this building. So that circular shape is similar to the basket weave that the tribe makes. So there's when the design was initially brought out, it has a spiraling design. So you're not going to see a lot of square shapes. The Tahquitz Canyon, a lot of the canyons for the tribe are really resonate in the design, the material. So you see a lot of stone, you see a lot of wood, you see a lot of things that are more nature. So when you think about the movement of where nature is starting to come into design, this is already built into the spa. And so you do feel like you're outside, even when you're inside, kind of like what you were saying, when you're in that tranquility garden, you're seeing the waterfall, with the palm trees, that's where you're waiting to go in for your treatment. So there's a whole experience taking place other than just sitting in a waiting room, waiting to get picked up for a treatment. You're having a moment. Yeah, you've got the redwood fragrance piped through, which is bringing that, almost that Shinrin Yaku of forest bathing that gets tied into that experience. You hear the birds singing. There's a significant amount of research showing, benefits of of the sound of birds chirping, and after 5 minutes, for hours after that, you'll continue to be less stressed. So that's all taking place before the treatment. So it's a good way to prepare the kind of the mind and body, but all that kind of outside in, yet it still has, some modern take.
But we'd be remiss without mentioning that this is smack in the center of town. I mean, you cannot help. And the two main, one goes one way, one goes the other. There you are. And you're connected to what? What is the other showpiece on that property?
The museum.
And the museum is of what?
Originally, before the museum was going in, before we tore down the last spa that had the hotel, it had a spa, fitness center. When this rebuild went in, it was to focus on the spa and then the museum and putting that on one city block.
So it's the Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla Indians, and it's their museum. And so,
Correct.
Of course, you have clothing, you have basket weaving, house styles, historical food, medicine preparation. And it really is a way to share the culture.
Yes.
Sometimes culture is just built over and nobody pays any attention, but just how wonderful that the tribe had the foresight to do that. Because often you think it's just casinos. But to be real, the tribe has, 2 casinos in that
Three
area?
casinos, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, and Palm Springs.
So using some of those profits, they built this tribute to their own culture, which is super cool. So now you're tying in the culture. All right. Well, now it's time to talk about where all this happens. So I live in LA, as listeners of the podcast know. So if you get on the 10 and drive 2 hours, you cannot miss all of a sudden the landscape changing. Taquitos Canyon, does anyone know, is where the guy from Disney came and drew the rock for Lion King. Remember that scene?
I do, yes.
So that's where we are. So now, Colleen, take us to Palm Springs. Pull out on your drone view beyond the spa. What are we dealing with there?
Well, Greater Palm Springs, as you mentioned, driving from LA, the first reason you're there is when you come across the windmills, and it's a very iconic entry point into Greater Palm Springs. But we're actually a 9-city desert oasis. So Palm Springs proper is one of the 9 cities, but there are 8 others. The valley is 24 miles long and 15 miles wide. So 9 cities sounds big, but it's actually a pretty contained area.
So what are some of those cities?
So you start in Palm Springs, you would go to Cathedral City, Desert Hot Springs, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Indian Wells, La Quinta, and Coachella.
All right, so we'll play a game. I'll name a resort, you name another one. One of the famous spa resorts is Two Bunch Palms from the movie The Player.
Yes.
Okay, Tim Robbins. And what's another?
Another La Quinta resort.
La Quinta. And then another, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the spa industry, one of the birthplaces of so many figures, stellar leaders in the spa industry is Desert Hot Springs.
Desert Hot Springs has another really wonderful source of hot springs there.
Yeah. And then there's
the Parker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Daniel's sitting here, so we must say the Sandstone.
Of course,
Sandstone. Yes, I know.
Séc-he, yes.
It's a 5-star spa.
Sandstone, yep.
That's not
Forbes rated.
Yeah, it's a Forbes 5-star. It's the only one in the desert.
Yep, that's true.
But I think what people don't realize is that Palm Springs is there's such a Hollywood history. It's where, Marilyn Monroe, and you help me more, Frank Sinatra.
Absolutely. So it dates back actually to the 1800s with the Native American band, Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla Indians, and the first bathhouse was in the 1880s, I believe.
Yep, 1880s.
So that was the first way people experienced health and wellness in the destination, and from there it evolved into the Hollywood playground in the 1920s, and still really
20s
today,
too,
even starting as early as the 20s, and even still today, we have a lot of great Hollywood elite that come retreat there. It's really been known as a health and wellness kind of refuge or retreat, a very holistic way to sort of experience health and wellness. Because of the springs, because of the sunshine, because of the picturesque mountains, because of the experiences you can have there, because of the healthy dining. There's so many ways you can incorporate health and wellness into your visit.
All right, so we're going to play another game. And my favorite,
Games are fun.
I've worked with a couple hotels in that area, and I just could not believe the events that went on in 1 year in that destination. Oh, yeah. You people do not sleep, even in the hot. Forget it. Okay, my favorite, the International Film Fest.
Coming up in January.
You have that awards ceremony where it kicks off the awards season.
The gala, yep.
Meryl Streep, everybody comes and you give them awards. And I haven't been invited yet, but perhaps soon. And then we used to always host the director's reception. And there were so many international films and so many documentaries. People don't realize it's a very serious film festival.
Definitely. It's a kickoff to this award season.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What else happens there? Give me another one.
Modernism Week.
Oh my God, you guys, you have to see. It's all the posters of California that you see, the slick, sort of 50s looking, futuristic. All the homes are there. I mean, and you get to tour them. What else happens? There's lectures at the...
there's learning, there's exhibits, there's double deck bus tours, there's all sorts of activities. And that happens twice a year now. It's so popular.
Oh my God. And then golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, and world class. It's not just somebody's sister.
The BNP Tennis Paribas Open is in March, and that's considered the 5th Grand Slam as it relates to tennis. So it's an extremely world-renowned. People come from all over the world to attend that conference as well, or that tennis tournament rather.
And then let's not forget, everyone talks about Coachella and Stagecoach.
They do.
And don't forget, I went to Old Cella. Remember the one that had the baby boomer stars, Paul McCartney, and help me with all the people that were there. It was just so amazing. But you do have to wear a scarf on your nose because there's a lot of hay flying around.
It depends, but yes, sometimes it can get dusty. So it's a good idea sometimes to do that.
Okay, so there's so much going on in this destination, and it's so close to major metropolitan areas, and your airport is super, expanding. And what is it? Air Canada, JetBlue. I mean, so many people fly.
Oh yeah, since the pandemic, we actually have really established a lot more recognition as a destination. People were really retreating to again find wide open spaces and health and wellness opportunities and sunshine. And so over the past couple of years, where some locations maybe have been a little more burdened by it, we actually drew a lot more visitors. Actually, last year, our economic impact of tourism was $8.7 billion. So billion.
You should have a bubble here. But one thing I will say is that you people truly believe in wellness. I have been talking to your colleague Joyce Keel for so many years about wellness. Why do you care? You're at the Global Wellness Summit. Why are you here?
We're here because health and wellness is a pillar of our destination. It's in the very fabric of who we are. We're here because of the collaboration that we've had with the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians, and this collaboration with the BBC, which has been premiered here at this conference and showcasing health and wellness as well as culture and how that intertwines together and how the visitor can experience that. And really just to bring more narrative on tourism. As you can see from the bubble research, it's a big part of the health and wellness economy.
So let's talk a second about the BBC special. It's from BBC Storyworks. It's not a news documentary. I think it's BBC Storyworks, and they decided to focus on wellness. We interviewed Simon Shelley a couple episodes ago too. So what did your segment focus on?
So we were really focusing again on the healing waters of the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians, the history of it through Marino Potencio, a formal tribal member's perspective and roots and connections to the tribal waters, and also how that now can be experienced in modern day. So it's sort of going from the old ancient sacred waters and how now visitors can experience that, and as a result, learn more about the culture of the destination.
It's crazy, right? So you get a lot done on that holiday. So what are you hearing back from your research reports on how interested people are in this?
It's interesting you say that. Health and wellness is really one of the number one attributes that we're known for when we do our image and awareness study every year, which we just completed. So we live in the Oasis quadrant, which ties in nicely to our brand, which is Find Your Oasis.
I don't know what that means. You live in the Oasis quadrant.
Meaning we're known for being a retreat, a wellness, a place where people feel transformational experiences. And so that's how people are identifying us when they're talking about Greater Palm Springs.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so you're saying people are very interested in your larger picture of your market. What are you hearing from your guests that come for the day? Why are they coming? Where are they coming from, Daniel?
Well, all over. I mean, right now when we're off season, we usually bring in our LA locals. What we see right this time of year, all the snowbirds. You get the Canadians out, everyone from the East Coast coming out. Really for the hot springs, it's the rejuvenation, it's the healing. It really does replenish the spirit. So it truly is a mind body, experience. It's not just a treatment that you're going in for. It transforms them throughout the day.
And how are you getting them to try these Ferraris of
massage
tables and these off-the-wall treatment?
The spa itself has been designed to be more experiential. So it's really more of an educational spa in a sense. So there's when a guest is coming through, they have, the steam, the sauna, we have a cold plunge. So they're going through these hot and cold contrasting treatments into the mineral hot spring. We have an acoustic wellness lounge, which is just a space to go in and do acoustic therapy where they put the headphones on, the chairs vibrate, it's,
Those are Living Earth
yes.
Crafts. I remember.
These
that.
are all, yes. We partner with both Living Earth Crafts and Gary Any because they both offer two different types of experiences with acoustic. Then we have a grounding room that uses conductive materials. It's all carbon material. It's plugged into the grounding socket. So it's very similar to an earthing or barefoot therapy session where you would walk outside barefoot. But you get to do this sitting in a very comfortable chair. It vibrates, it heats up. So there is an experience that they're getting to walk through without it necessarily being a treatment. These are all amenities. So it comes with that day pass experience. Then we have the halotherapy, which is a salt cave that injects in halotherapy
you have a
salt.
salt cave.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yes,
do.
I
We have two
remember
of
that
those.
salt cave.
So then from there, you go outside, you have the resort pool, the mineral springs, we have cafes. So, but outside that, those were all amenities. So that as you come in as a spa guest just to get a massage or a facial, you're going to get all that with your day.
Oh,
Or
you get it
can,
with
yeah.
the day. So
Or
that's
you can
included.
just do, yeah. So and that's very much the difference is that you're getting to try a lot of these things that may typically have an upcharge and they don't. So the guest gets to come in, try these
love
things
that.
out. Yeah. It's very different. Having flotation pods, same thing. You won't see that in a lot of spas. You'll see that in the standalone facilities. So the idea is introducing these concepts of wellness that then people can go home and say, hey, now how do I apply this to my life?
Yeah.
And they'll search places close by, but it helps them understand because it's under all one roof. So if they're going to be there getting a treatment, then they can, hey, let's try it. They get more exploratory. And so that's the difference is they're coming in, they have experience that they've never tried before. We incorporate things like hot stones with all of our treatments. You don't have to add it on. You're getting the foot scrub so that as guests go somewhere else and they say, okay, maybe it's an add-on for a hot stone or it's, different price point. They've already experienced it and with us. And then they've walked out and said, hey, I've always wanted to get a hot stone. I always skip on it because it's extra, but I will never get a massage again without, adding it on because it was so great. So we're really giving the guest an opportunity to, and so it equalizes it as well, right? Right now we're talking about, democratizing,
We
wellness.
have to talk about
So
democratizing wellness.
how do we do this? And so the way to do it is, instead of, always looking at ways to upcharge everything, to how do you just make it part of the experience so that every guest gets the same. When I was a therapist and I would work on a teacher who did this as that one special thing once a year, they're out. And it was like, this is my one day to treat myself. And then, I'd get the guest in that came every week. And my heart always went out to the people that were there for that one time special occasion. They had saved up every penny they had to have it. So the idea has been, how do we make sure every guest coming in that they're all going to have, that same experience. They get to experience the aromatherapy. They get to experience the foot scrub, the hot stones, the heat pack, all these little things that just end up being an extra charge, but, a way that, everybody gets to enjoy it.
And here's the thing, this report, I interviewed the researcher, and one thing they were a little concerned about is, okay, more people are doing fitness and more money is being spent on fitness and wellness, but is it by the elite and less by the masses? So for me, I mean, you worked at Glen Ivy, Daniel. I love that place because for $80, you just get a day of like wellness. And what a lot of experts tell us is the only thing people do is drink. I mean, it's like it's a party. Let's have cocktails by the pool. And that's their rejuvenation.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about opening new markets of people that maybe couldn't afford a luxury hotel?
I mean, I think that's what's great about our destination is we have so many different types of accommodations and experiences that fit sort of all price levels. We have luxury, but we also have very approachable, boutique style properties or vacation rentals or limited service properties that you can experience. And same with spas. There's everything from the five diamond to kind of your day spa that's a little more reasonably priced. So I think there's something for everyone, which is really nice. It makes it a lot more approachable. And seasonality too. I mean, our destination is
Oh,
seasonal,
right,
where there's
right.
some value to come during certain seasons. So you can,
When it's so hot, you could scream. But anyway,
but you can go to the Sunstone Spa
Yeah.
and experience that a little differently than maybe during the peak season.
That was
So
that was the amazing part during what we saw during COVID was post-COVID when things were still shut down in most of California, Riverside County opened up. And so we saw a lot of LA and San Diego coming into our area. And it totally changed what their perception of what summer could be. So it was realizing, hey, even in the summer it's 120, you spend most of your time outside anyway or inside,
inside.
and
I was
so
like,
or
really?
in
You
the,
are
or in the
tough,
pool,
Daniel.
or in the pool. Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys, we'll wrap it up. But I really wanted, I know it's only the first day of the summit. We've had a big day. We had the research report, we had Simone Biles, we had Timberland. What are some of your takeaways? I'll start with you. Have you been inspired by anything
I
today?
have. It's my first time here, so I think I
Oh.
didn't really have an expectation, and so far my expectations have been exceeded, and I've met a lot of great connections so far. And these topics are really important to us and to our destination, and a big pillar of the destination. And just being here with Daniel, too, one of our great partners,
Yeah.
and really highlighting this new piece it's a proud moment for us. So
Oh, and how about you, Daniel? Any takeaways?
I like how the focus is future, what's going on years out from now, more that future planning of where things need to get to. I like the research studies has been really nice to just have some solid information. And I also feel that, there's some of the topics that are coming up. Like I do have a passion for, when I saw the democratizing,
Me too.
spa, it's like, how do we get, wellness into everybody's hands
Yep.
and in a way that works? And so I just feel like these are all very critical things when it comes to wellness.
And also culturally, the spa world has always been like, if you're wealthy, you can get there. But, to tie in a culture like the Native American culture, it's just amazing that you get a history lesson and a cultural tour when you're at the
Yeah.
spa. It's just so awesome.
Makes it
So,
rich.
guys, I'm sorry. I apologize if I gush too much about Palm Springs.
we
but
love
I
it.
love it there. And so I'll see you guys at Séc-he.
All
Okay.
right. Absolutely.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the Palm Springs Film
The
Festival.
film festival.
Yes.